Yes, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We are here. We are talking about going out to eat, restaurants, etc., and any other thing that innuendo that come into your mind, especially mine. Why am I giving this video? I feel the urge to give a video. I've been going through a lot of changes today with appointments and things like that. But let's get right on into it. You work hard, you play hard, you get off work, you party a little bit, or maybe you went to the gym, or maybe you had a long drive to a destination and you want to celebrate you getting there. That's what I do sometimes. If I do a long drive and I get there in time, sometimes if I get there at the right time, I want to celebrate in a restaurant. It doesn't matter what type of restaurant it is. It doesn't matter if it's fast food and that's the only restaurant around that I can go to. But if I can get something good to eat, that's great. Of course, things have changed a little bit, but it doesn't denote the fact that you still get hungry, regardless of what your physical, mental condition is in life. You get to a place, and sometimes you anticipate, sometimes you don't, but do the servers anticipate? Do the maitre d' anticipate? Do they smile enough when you come in the door? Or is it a fake smile and you can see right through? Are they giving you your table right away? Are they giving you the table that you would like to sit at because you've been there? You've been to this particular place so many times that you think you want that table. No one's there. Or are they blocking off certain tables? But you okay, you'll take these other tables. Of course, 9 times out of 10, sometimes we think that they put us next to the bathroom. We don't necessarily want to be next to the bathroom. But sometimes there is no choice. Sometimes you better wait it out. But all this is talking about attitude. Attitude, preparing to go to the restaurant, anticipating going to the restaurant, and actually going to the door of the restaurant. And I made quite a few points. I don't know how long this video is going to last. It might last a short time. I don't know. It might. However, do servers sometimes, or the maitre d', or who's ever there, do you seem like sometimes when there's even no one there that they take their time? Sometimes there's a lot of people there that take their time, but there's still a few choice seats that you want to check out. Maybe it's next to the window. So the first thing is, are you being judged when you walk into the door? What type of look they have on their face? Sometimes they assume that you might not even give a good tip. Now, I heard about older people. Even when I was younger, I probably went out with another couple that was a little bit older than me. But me being an older person of middle age, getting toward that way and going out with somebody older, sometimes some people think that they don't tip enough. Maybe I talked about this before a long time ago, but we're going to regurgitate it out again. Because I still think tipping is a big deal. Sometimes that determines the attitude of how they serve you at the end, and sometimes in the beginning. Things happen in between which could make you change your mind about what type of tip you give. But then again, If you're considered a cheap person and you don't give tips, then maybe there's a problem. But there will be a problem because you are expected to do your end of the bargain. Sometimes when you a lot of people, the tips are just not enough. They feel that you get an extra 10% if there's six or more people. I would say extra 10% if there's more than what they can handle. Or sometimes they don't answer the call of what you need in time. Sometimes a lot of problems happen behind the scene among people who work. There's bitterness, divisiveness behind the scenes between cooks, servers, cashiers. Who knows who's all back there? I got most of this stuff from Google, but I think sometimes we think that when they come to the table, what's their problem? What is, excuse me, what is happening to them? Do they know what they're doing? Did someone make them mad? Did someone really piss them off? Sometimes that really can hurt customers up front. Because what I read is that sometimes it could be clicks, sometimes it could be new employees that they're mad at. Sometimes it's the shift. Sometimes it's too many tables that they're waiting on. I know many times we walk in, at least me, sometimes you say, okay, the person's escort you. They usually have one person. Maybe they only have two inside in a big room. Maybe there's only 10 groups of people. Some have four, some have two, some have one. And that server have to serve all those people. Do the servers look tired? Do they look like they work hard enough? Because sometimes even when they make mistakes, you still give them a decent tip because you know that they're all by themselves. And you don't know what's going on with the other co-workers there. Is it your business? It could be if it's going to affect how you're being served. So according to Google again, and it's a rough estimate, I'm quoting it verbatim, but let's just talk about sometimes, I think I talked about in some other videos, I'm not going to mention the restaurants because sometimes you know which restaurants try their best, which ones that you go to are not that good, or maybe the service better, or maybe they don't have quite what you want, as I've been experiencing with my new physical condition. There's always some reason why servers deserve certain things, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do not listen well, sometimes they talk too fast. Sometimes you have to straighten out your own attitude too. Can they make you smile when you're probably just hot from the heat or the cold? Or some thought that takes you someplace else and not in the menu. And you ask for food and the menu still comes back just a little bit different than what it is. As I discussed with quite a few people nowadays, that how difficult it is sometimes, even when you don't have any kind of physical problem. You're just a normal person that can eat anything in a book, and they still make, or they still do the order wrong in some kind of way. They still have to leave certain things on there. You either throw it away, you save it to give someone else at the table. And if you're a group of people and you're having a good time and people are making judgments, I know a lot of places is that's what some restaurants for, to make noise. They have a good time. And it depends on the type of hour the things are going on. You can have a convention, you can have a party, you can have a business meeting. But is there really such thing as too much of too much? Perhaps it is sometimes. Perhaps you can lower the level of intensity and still have a great time. But what good is that if you got about 10 sitting at the table and the tip comes up short and someone had to give up something? But the worst thing that can happen so far as that's concerned is someone not paying their fair share. So that can make your night or your day bad, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, brunch, or whatever, all you can eat. But depending on what type of meal it is, how much it costs, that can determine your whole effect of what type of experiences you're going to have. And will a server make your experience a little bit more enjoyable by being more friendly? And if they are going through problems, will they show it or not show it? Because evidently we always see that sometimes it takes a little bit long, and sometimes you think sometimes you are being overlooked. That is an oversight problem because usually sometimes the manager comes over and says, everything all right? Say, yes, everything all right. Sometimes you say everything's all right, but it's okay. You don't want to make any waves. It's okay. It could be just the way you feel. Or maybe the portions wasn't that great. Or maybe they didn't cook your eggs the way you really wanted. Or instead of giving you wheat toast, you got white toast. And they don't think put aside, but they put it on there. Think that you said, leave it on the side. I'll take care of it later. According to Google, restaurant mistakes, roughly 11%. That's 1 in 9 of all restaurants that we go to. That's like an 89% difference. 89%. Sometimes you can't get a job in the 80 percentile. But then again, these are restaurants. It could be for any number of reasons. It depends on the crowds. But if there's less crowds and they're still slow, at least you can tell them you're not ready. Sometimes they're a little bit too fast and they talk too fast. And sometimes they hear too fast and they really didn't hear what you said. Of course, I get a kick out of them. I always want to give you some extra drink or extra coffee. Usually you get your free lemonade or your free water in it. And sometimes you don't need that much because sometimes it is a waste of water. One glass is enough. Waste of any kind of juice, regardless of how much it costs, if it's unlimited. I know for me, 2 is the max. But lately, in the past few years, only 1's enough. And sometimes you have the water there, the water and the juice, the water and the coffee, the water and the tea. It's all the same thing. That is enough. So sometimes you have to catch them before they even pour that cup of black coffee in your cup. Sometimes I move my cup over. I move it over to the right of me, far out the way, and hopefully they don't go over the food and dip in the coffee. But it's best for them to ask what type of drink you want, or do you want an extra one? You don't have to reach over, you don't have to do anything. Now, when you talk about fast food, you talk about 92 to 95%. So that could be telling you a lot. So I would say generally that sometimes restaurants do fail. Because what I be looking at, I was looking at DoorDash, I was looking at Uber Eats, I was looking at the percentage of rate of failure there, and how many people eat their food, how many people behind the scenes of big restaurant brands are eating food and they're being taken, and some stupid reason why some people would eat their fries or eat something in front of the person and then give them their plate on the table. So I'm always hearing about something, and sometimes I don't want to wait a year later, so I just kept this in general on why certain things like that happen to certain people. You are taking a big risk every time you go out, but if more people were honest about what they do in life, if they're sincere about what they do in life, it'll come back to them wholesale in a good way, not necessarily in a bad way. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to screw up a company that has been doing right by you. And if the company has not been doing right by you, well, then maybe you should just quit. So you tell yourself, oh, this is the only thing that I can do. Well, if it's the only thing that you can do, then make the best of it. People can see right through you when they need to see right through you. And that means even if they're sober or intoxicated, people can see right through you. Whether they're in pain or not, people can see right through you if they need to see what they want to see. Are you the type of person that's going to come around and help? I know sometimes I go, even lately, this last trip, sometimes the restaurants are a little slow, and that is the truth. But you know they're too slow when there's plenty of seats and there's hardly nobody there and they're taking a very long time. Do they really want you to come there and eat when they see when you first come through the door? You're tired, you're hungry, you want something good to eat, you figure they got something for you and you want to try it out. Sometimes the price does not matter. But if the price is a little bit more than what it should be and the food is coming out not the way it's supposed to, then yes, there is a problem. I would call that failure. Failure to produce on the bottom line, just like anything else when you get your paycheck. But I've been seeing many faces wherever I go and they're smiling. Some restaurants are much better than others. Sometimes it's just the individuals in those restaurants that do a good job. Knowing they got just as many problems as the person who's coming through the door, and they do sympathize with you. That's why we come to the restaurant. So you only got the choices of oversight if they overlook anything about what they do. So if they don't have the hot sauce and you need the hot sauce and it's taking up 10 minutes and your food is cold, that could be a little problem. That could be. I think restaurants is going to have to change in the future because there are more and more people being sick. And not just people who are sick because of condition of food, but sick because of other conditions in their body, but they still have to go through the same process. They have to lose a little weight, they have to watch what they eat, they have to use less spices, they have to use certain spices that do not affect their blood pressure. Not too much sugar is going to affect diabetes. Not too much of anything. You're going to have to find the middle ground and still go out and have a good time. Keep the economy going. Of course, if you was in a resort, you could cook some of your own food the way you are in your own home. And then again, sometimes you do get tired of eating home cooked food. You want to go out. You want to have a good time. You trust the restaurant you're going to. You want to try out one of their new dishes. Find out the menu's changed, but you're willing to take the chance and try it out. Give them a good review and a bad one too, or so in between. Everything is good, but this is bad, but this is great. Seems like the service got a good attitude, the maitre d' got the good attitude, the cashier got the good attitude, and they got three different positions. Some of them have bakeries in the back. When the food is pretty good, that always entices you sometimes, even when you just got a little money, you want to go there and you want to buy something extra. And sometimes they do a little extra. Sometimes the mistake is good at the end. And you may, oh no, I was planning on getting this and that, and they gave you some extra anyway, but you still go out and buy a little bit more pastry, a little bit more dish, you want to take it with you. That's all good, we know that. And that's probably where it should be because going out to eat food and working, they're both serious business. Having fun is serious business. And that's like I said, there's a lot of oversight in a lot of things we do. Sometimes it turns to failure, sometimes it turns to reluctantness. Sometimes it just happens. There's always mistakes in the bag. Sometimes someone is training someone, they train them wrong, but then when they get to you, they make the wholesale mistake of not putting in your order correctly, as I've been through once. But when everything works out okay and it's in the bag, I feel good about it. I'll go online and say something good about it. I did write a letter where it says, contact this. Never heard from them. You write to the corporate. We never heard from them. Or do they think that was necessary? Or do they think you're trying to get something out of something? Not necessarily, just good service. But if they gave me something, a coupon, I'll accept it. However, those are the things we must go through dealing with both good attitude and hostile attitudes turns into either bad oversight or good insight. So it is your choice. You can eat at home, like I said before, or eat out because you have no choice, especially when you travel. This is Robert Shaw. I'll see you in my next video. I am drinking some kind of special tea in here. I put a little ice already melted because it's so hot. I'll see you folks and have a great evening. Enjoy yourself while you can. And have a great bon appetit wherever you go. Talk to you later. Been nice talking to you. Regardless.